I hope that this video finds you doing well. What I want to share with you is a little story from my childhood. When I was a kid, I took swimming lessons. I was probably about 8 years old, something like that. I was very, very scared. I had a lot of fear in me already. I just was a child like that. But as many of you know, because I've talked about before, I had these skin problems. I had this bad skin condition, this disease, rashes covering my skin, cracks and rashes, and it would flare up and bleed and ooze and all this stuff. And so I walked around already wanting to cover myself. And so to expose myself in front of the other kids with my skin already was causing me anxiety and discomfort, right? Which in itself can be a life lesson intertwined in this. Exposing ourselves, letting our real selves be seen, being judged by others. No matter what they think of us, we want to impress others. We want to look good to others. But what really matters is how God sees us, right? What's on the inside of us, how he made us, who he made us to be, the heart that he gave us, right? Okay, so back to the story. So here I am, this scared, terrified little girl in swimming lessons. I did all right, but the time came to go to the deep end where we stood in line to jump into the deep to the swimming instructor. I placed myself at the end of the line on purpose because I didn't want to go first. I didn't want to go second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I wanted to go last. I wanted to see everybody else do it. And I wanted to put it off as long as I could because I was terrified. Okay, the time came for me to jump. And there I stood with my little toes on the edge and asked the teacher if he could please come closer. Of course, he did as any teacher would do, any swim instructor would do. And he said, you can do it. You can do it. You know, he encouraged me. He did all the stuff. And I was terrified. I asked him again and I asked him again, would you please come just a little closer? He knew I was scared. Okay. And the reason I share the story, because it's like, isn't that how we are with God so often? That's why I'm sharing this story for this lesson. Isn't that how we are with God? God, I don't know if I can trust you. Are you going to catch me? Do you have me? Are you going to let me drown? Are you going to let me fall? What if I step out of this boat with both feet in scary faith and I drown? What if you let me drown? But what does God promise us in his word? I will not let you drown. You have to have faith. And faith of what size? What does he tell us? The size of a mustard seed. Faith the size of a mustard seed will move mountains, you guys. Okay, back to the story. Finally, after remembering and realizing I'm being stared at by all of my classmates, my teacher coaxing me to just do it. I had to do it. I had to just jump. I made myself do it. I jumped in and I was fine. I made it. I made it into his arms. He was right there. He didn't let me drown. I survived. Here I am talking to you today, undrowned, you know, and it was something that God had brought me back to show me the importance of trusting him in that symbolism from that story and how so many of us are as adults. Having childlike faith and trusting him and just how important that is. And when we trust him and jump into his arms, jump into his loving, waiting arms, the God who is not going to let us drown, not going to let us fall, he is going to carry us further. When you trust in him and step out of that comfort zone and into his waiting arms, he's going to take you farther. You're going to learn things. You're going to grow spiritually. And so that is my encouragement for you today. Jump into his arms where he's calling you, where you might be holding back, where you're scared. Take it to prayer. Ask him to show you where those areas are if you're unaware of them. Okay, I hope that brings you encouragement and I hope that blesses you. All right, guys, love you.